found out my wife had 3 one-night stands while we were supposed to be exclusive. Damn. You want to know something crazy? I found out my wife cheated on me 3 times when we were dating. Not last week, not last month, but 7 years ago. And now I'm getting divorced. It's wild how the past can come back and destroy everything you thought was solid. Let me break this down for you. I work as an IT security specialist. Not the most exciting job, but it pays well and keeps me busy. Met her at a coffee shop downtown where she worked as a barista. Not the typical love story. We clicked instantly over our love of horror movies and true crime podcasts. 6 months of dating turned into a year, then 2. We moved in together after 18 months. Everything seemed perfect. Why do people move this fast? I just don't get it. Fast forward to 2024. We've been married for 5 years now. No kids, thank God. Just us and our 2 dogs in a nice house in the country. Here's where shit hits the fan. Remember how I said I work in IT security? Well, last month I'm doing some routine maintenance on our home network. Nothing special, just updating some security protocols. That's when I noticed something weird. An old cloud backup from a phone, dated 2017, back when we were dating. Sometimes technology always finds a way to expose the truth. Now, I'm not the snooping type, never have been, but something caught my eye. A folder named Vegas Trip 17. I remember that trip. She went with her girlfriends for a weekend. I stayed home because of work deadlines. Curiosity got the better of me. I opened the folder. Bad mistake, or maybe the best mistake of my life. Probably was. Inside were text messages, hundreds of them, between her and her friends, discussing not 1, not 2, but 3 different guys she hooked up with while we were exclusive. The first one, some bartender at a club in Vegas. The second, a businessman she met at a conference in Chicago, another work trip. The third, this one's the kicker, a guy from her gym, right here in our city. The ones closest to home always hurt the worst, don't they? These were not drunken mistakes. These were planned, calculated. She even joked about it with her friends. Damn. What he doesn't know won't hurt him, she wrote. One of the most classic lines you will ever hear. 7 years of lies, 7 years of thinking I had something real. I didn't confront her right away. Instead, I did something smarter. Called my lawyer, got my ducks in a row, moved half our savings to a separate account, gathered all the evidence. Then I waited for the right moment. It came during dinner last week. She was talking about planning our next vacation. I pulled out my laptop, opened the folder, and turned it towards her. Should have seen her face. First confusion, then shock, then panic. She tried everything, tears, begging, the usual. I was young and stupid excuse. Then came the classic, but it was before we got married. Funny how cheaters always try to minimize their actions when caught. Here's the thing though, those messages, they showed more than just cheating, they showed her real character. She laughed about it, planned it, even gave her friends tips on how to hide their own affairs. Wow. This wasn't just about sex, it was about the lies, the manipulation, the complete lack of respect. You know what's crazy? She actually had the nerve to say I was overreacting, that it was ancient history. History or not, you still cheated. But here's what she didn't get. It wasn't about when it happened. It was about finding out our entire relationship was built on lies. Trust is like a mirror. Once it's broken, you can't look at it the same way again. Filed for divorce the next day. Her family's blowing up my phone. Her friends are calling me an asshole, saying I should forgive and forget. But I can't, won't. Remember, they were exclusive when they were dating, before they got married. Now, this is a woman that's definitely for the streets. Because every memory is now tainted. Every moment we shared has a question mark attached to it. Was she thinking about them when she said, I do? Was she comparing me to them all these years? How many other secrets is she keeping? Sometimes the hardest decisions are the ones that hurt the most, but they're necessary for your own sanity. So here I am, 33 years old, starting over. The divorce papers are filed. I'm moving out next week. Found a nice apartment downtown. Some people say I'm throwing away 5 years of marriage over ancient history. But I'm not throwing away anything. She did that 7 years ago. I'm just finally taking out the trash. At the end of the day, self-respect is worth more than any relationship. So, am I the asshole for divorcing her over something that happened while we were dating? Hell no, because it's not about the past. It's about who she really is, a liar, a cheater. Someone who can look me in the eye for 7 years and pretend everything's fine. That's not love. That's not even basic respect. And I deserve better than that. We all do. Sometimes the hardest part isn't leaving, it's realizing you should have left sooner. Look, I'll tell you something else that really sealed the deal for me, something I didn't mention earlier. While going through those messages, I found something even more disturbing. She kept pictures, not just any pictures, screenshots of their conversations, the explicit photos and hotel receipts. Why would you do that? Everything, like some kind of sick trophy collection. Want to know the worst part? She used our joint credit card to pay for the hotel rooms. The same card we used to build our credit score for buying our house. Can you imagine buying a house with someone who used your shared finances to cheat on you? Going through our financial records was like opening Pandora's box. Every suspicious charge, every unexplained expense, it all started making sense. Those girls' nights out that cost hundreds of dollars. Those work conferences with extra hotel charges. Yeah, now I know where that money really went. And their friends, they're all part of this little club. They cover for each other, create alibis, even book hotel rooms under their names. When the truth comes out, you realize it's not just one person lying to you, it's an entire network. Found out she even had a separate email account just for her adventures. 7 years of secrets, all neatly organized in folders. The level of planning, the dedication to keeping this hidden, it's almost impressive in a twisted way. Some people put more effort into hiding their lies than building honest relationships. Back when I found the messages where she gave advice to her friends about hiding their own affairs, most devastating thing was she was giving tips about deleting text, using cash instead of cards, creating fake calendar events. Damn, she wasn't just a cheater, she was a pro at it, a mentor for others wanting to do the same. When someone shows you who they are, you better believe them the first time. Since filing for divorce, more truth bombs keep dropping. Mutual friends coming forward with stories, times they saw her with other guys, but didn't want to get involved. Even found out she had a burner phone. The rabbit hole just keeps getting deeper. It's amazing how many people knew, but chose to stay quiet. You know what's funny? She's telling everyone I'm controlling for looking through her old files. Says I violated her privacy. Funny how cheaters always play victim when caught. But here's what really gets me. She's still lying. Still trying to manipulate the story. Telling people it was just harmless flirting. That got out of hand. 3 different guys in 3 different cities isn't getting out of hand. It's a pattern. So yeah, that's the full story. Every day I find more evidence, more lies, more betrayal. But you know what? I'm done. Done investigating, done pain shopping, done trying to understand why. Some people will say I'm throwing away a marriage over ancient history, that people can change. Maybe they can. But trust, once it's gone, it's gone. Yep, it is what it is. And I'd rather be alone than with someone who can lie to my face for 7 years. That's my story, folks. Judge me if you want, but I know I made the right call. Sometimes the hardest choices are the ones that set you free. I have said this before. Once someone cheats on you, how can you trust them again? You will always be wondering where they are if they are late coming home, or they don't answer you right away if you text or call them. Do you really want to live like that? If they truly want to reconcile, let them do all the work. And furthermore, they will have to give up some privacy. But do you think a relationship can be salvaged that way?